Hello everyone, Yuma here with a Moonlight Blade mobile video, and I just found out that Southeast Asia is getting this game on May 15th, 2024. Literally days, not even days, it's a day and a half from my recording here. So I just wanted to get this video out for all the new players getting ready for launch in Southeast Asia. You guys are having a different publisher, VNG Games, so hopefully you don't get ruined like we did in global. We have Envy Play, and the content release has been very, very slow. We're all very frustrated. But however, it is a fun game. It is a fun game, even if you're free to play. And people are asking, is it pay to win? Yes, it is. All mobile games are pay to win. Just know that ahead of time. But you can still enjoy it, especially if you're a fan of wuxia themed games, Asian martial arts. It's always been a fun aspect for me. So we're going to get right into it for all those Southeast Asians out there. When you choose your class, you're going to have 6 starter classes. Now, there are 12 total classes in China version, Taiwan version, Garena version, whatever you want to call it. But at the very beginning, at launch, you're going to have 6 starter classes. As you can see, I have 7. The 7th class that we got is Strategist. It comes out it came out 3.5 months for us in global, NAEU. So we started December 18th, 2023 and got this March 4th, 2024. So if it follows the same plan, maybe every 3 to 3.5 months, you get a new class. We're on our 5th month here, so I'm hoping maybe we'll get one somewhere in June, maybe beginning of July. Just praying at this point. So yeah, we're going to cover all the classes. I'll even cover the strategist, but what's the point? You're not going to be able to use it at start. So each class has 2 skill sets. So we're going to cover each skill set as well as the rating between 1 to 5 for the PvE side as well as the PvP side. Now for Swordsman, they are known as a melee DPS, and they are also known as the whale class. You know, the whale class, the pay to win class. Everyone that's pay to win goes Swordsman. You want to know why? Low effort for high reward. They always end up being the top DPS in Tails. Tails equals dungeons. So it's the PvE content. So if you're trying to excel in PvE content, 5 out of 5. Even if you're free to play, it's still very good. 5 out of 5 for Tails. Can't go wrong. Always top DPS, always helpful. Now, for 1v1s, they're going to also be 5 out of 5. Now, the reason why swordsmen do have 2 skill sets, but in global, only the first skill set is being used for all content. I don't see the second skill set ever being used. The first skill set is just better in everything, pretty much. The first skill within the first skill set is iframes. Basically, you disappear and then you do a multiple sword slashes in an AoE right in front of you. It's very strong, low cooldown, does a lot of damage. Your 5th skill is a wind barrier. I don't remember how many seconds right now. This is not really because I don't play it that much, but I think it's like 10-second wind barrier, maybe 8 seconds. It's super strong. You get to ignore everything. When you fight this swordsman in 1v1, it's so annoying because when the wind barrier is up, you just got to take it. You can block if you are prepared for it, but usually they don't give you the chance to block. Wind barrier, very strong, deflects attacks, put their skills on cooldown, put the enemy skills on cooldown. When they use a skill on you during wind barrier, it'll do nothing. It'll just kind of stagger them, actually. So very strong. It's a bum rush class. If you just want to fuck your shit up real fast, swordsman is the class for you. For 1v1s, for group PvP, all 5 out of 5. You can't go wrong with swordsman. Very annoying class to deal with in all regards. So free to play, good. Whale, amazing. Just 10 out of 10. Yeah, not much to say about swordsman. Very flashy, very OP. Second class, we got the fairy. Now, if you're going to try to play a healer, there's only 2 healing classes. You got the fairy and flutist. We'll cover the flutist in a bit, but just know that flutist is shield healing for the most part, but does decent heals as well, like HP healing. Fairy is no shields, is all HP healing. It's very AoE focused healing, whereas Flutist does like an AoE shield and a single heal, single target heal. So Fairy, we're going to talk about the DPS set first. DPS set, you are forced for healers to use the DPS set in 1v1, 5v5, and Battle Royale modes. The only time you can use healing in PvP is the guild tournament, the guild wars, open world PvP, and like the bosses, which is called Shadow Elite Hall. You're also going to have War at High He, at one point Territory of Shira, but these are contents like Territory of Shira and High He didn't come out for us until like this month, so you're not going to see that in a while. But just know that at the beginning, for 1v1s, 5v5, Battle Royale, you cannot be a healer. You're forced to use the DPS set. Now, the DPS set, I would rate 4 out of 5 for 1v1s. It's a very annoying class to fight because their block is very special. It's a special block. All the other classes use is a shield stance. You're stuck in shield mode, like the block mode, and you take chip damage when you get hit. For fairies, their block isn't a shield, it's a wind wall. They put the wind wall around them. It's like a circle, and they can move freely in the circle. They're not stuck in a block stance. They can use any of their skills within their little block wall, block circle, and they can just do whatever they want. They are not affected by any skills while they're in that block. So fairies are very special for that, and they have a very annoying stun or CC, whatever you want to call it, a control skill. It's uncounterable. Once you get hit by the first skill, it'll prompt them to use the control skill, which will string you up like a puppet. Very good for keeping people out of the fight. Very strong fight class, I would say, but not that strong compared to some of the other classes. I feel like it has some neat tricks, but not enough to keep it alive. It has very simple combos, nothing that can really string for long periods of time. It can easily get interrupted. Once you do get stringed up, the enemy can just use their escape skill if they saved it and it's not on cooldown. So 4 out of 5 for 1v1s. It's still very annoying to fight. If you're a beggar like me, it definitely, I had troubles. But the fairy does lose to other classes quite easily, I would say. For group PvP, when you can use it as a DPS, it's about 3 out of 5. It's not that great. It's not that great. It has good AoE potential. I just feel like it gets outshined a lot. For Tails, it's also 3 out of 5 if you're going to use the DPS set, just because it's more of an AoE DPS and bosses are more single target. So you're only good at mob killing. There are bosses that spawn mobs, but not a lot of bosses do. So 3 out of 5 for Tails for DPS. It can excel in a lot of situations as a DPS, but those situations are very minuscule and small in number. Now, as a healer, you're obviously going to be 5 out of 5. Both healers are really good. Flutist definitely has advantage in some things, which I'll tell you about, but very fun class to play. I enjoyed it when I played it on my girlfriend's account. So 5 out of 5 for healing. Can't go wrong. The rest, I already said so. Third class, we have Guardian. It has a DPS set, of course, and a tank set. It is one of 2 tanks in the game right now. Guardian has a very high skill ceiling if you're planning on using this as a 1v1 class. Definitely has a lot more cons than pros. It's high effort, high skill ceiling for Guardian. You can't fuck up when you're a 1v1 PvPer. Group PvP, you never use the DPS set. Most people use the tank set. So the only time you're ever using DPS set will be for the 1v1 joust. In all other situations, everyone uses the tank set. So DPS 1v1s, I would say it's probably a 3 out of 5. I would be pushing it if it's a 4 out of 5. When I played Guardian, I found it very unenjoyable. A lot of people who love PvP, who are PvP addicts, might enjoy it more, but it's just not as fun, I would say, to fight 1v1. You get countered by so many things. You do have a very strong fifth skill. It's like a long 8 second maybe, or 12, no, sorry, 12 second super armor skill, where you can ignore all like stuns and control skills, and you can just go ham. You have a different like basic attack combo string during that fifth skill duration. So it's quite nice. You can outlast blocks and other people's fifth skill super armors. So very fun class to play in certain situations, I'd say. You definitely have a lot of dashes and stuns and super armor with this class. So very enjoyable if you like being very tanky. But yeah, so 3 out of 5 for 1v1s. For Tails, if you're going DPS, it's shit. It's probably 3 out of 5 there too, maybe 2 out of 5. I'm not gonna lie. You can still be very high DPS. I think at launch, I started off as Guardian. I was still actually top of the charts for the most part. But when you're going down into late game, I feel like it does fall off. You're not going to be, if you're trying to rush for top of the charts on DPS, you're not going to. You're going to be in the middle pack, I would say. So yeah, for DPS set, that's what I would rate it. For the tank set, I would say 5 out of 5 for group PvP. Very, very strong group PvP. Group PvPer. You have your fifth skill shares damage reduction for your team, so it keeps everyone alive longer, as well as gives them super armor. So can't go wrong. It's a very ally friendly tanker. Whereas Beggar in the future, which we're going to talk about, is more of a selfish tanker. Most of your skills as a guardian is meant to keep someone in place. So it's a good isolator, take out the healer or the DPS, and just keep them juggled. A lot of CC, pretty much. So 5 out of 5 for group PvP. I would say for Tails, it would be 5 out of 5 as well. I would probably want a guardian over a beggar in most situations, but I think a beggar can actually outlive a guardian just because of its selfish nature, which we will talk about. So they're both really good if you're gonna tank. I am biased because I am a beggar now. I played both guardian and beggar, and I still like beggar more. It's just more fun in all aspects. But yeah, guardian. I don't really see much guardian nowadays. Doesn't get much play. It's definitely one of the least played classes currently in global. It was played a lot, but it fell off. So that's pretty much Guardian. Fourth class, Enchanter, range DPS. The Enchanter has the furthest range. It also has one of the highest skill ceilings. It requires a lot of, I think it's called macro skills. So you have this puppet here, which you place, you have to keep moving it around. So if you're not a good multitasker and you get tunnel visioned a lot, Enchanter is not good for you. If you're good at RTS games or strategy games, or what's that class in Dota 2, like Invoker, if you're good at those classes, the Enchanter is for you. It's a lot of moving your puppet around, placing it in front of your enemy, or predicting where your enemy will go, and just kind of doing preemptive moves, preemptive skills. It has a lot of trapping skills, a lot of escapes. This one has 3 escapes. This Enchanter, if you like what's it called, kiting in MOBA games, where you just kind of move around and avoid your enemy, you got so many escapes with the Enchanter. The most amount of escapes, 5 out of 5 in 1v1s, no doubt about it. If you're not a good player, maybe it's a 3 out of 5 in 1v1s, but if you're a very good player for PvP, definitely 5 out of 5. I do have a grand tournament video if you want to look in my channel. Grand tournament was a cross server 1v1. The Enchanter made it to the finals against the pay-to-win Swordsman. There was maybe like a 6-7K gap in prowess, and the Enchanter was almost outplayed the Swordsman in some parts. But of course, Wailing still wins, pay to win still wins. So, very fun class, I would say, if you are good at macroing. So, for 1v1s, 5 out of 5. Group PvP, 5 out of 5. It's pretty much unkillable. I do see the enchanters top of the charts on the leaderboards. For tails, DPS, maybe 4 out of 5. I don't know too much about the two skill sets. I haven't really looked into Enchanter that much, so I can't really tell you which skill set is better, unfortunately. But it is a very good class to play. Definitely does well. Can't go wrong. 4 out of 5, just because I do see Intel that it does a lot of DPS, but nothing to beat Strategist or Swordsman, unfortunately. But if you want to do well in all content, Enchanter is still a really good option. Okay, 5th class, Beggar. You have the DPS set, which is very fun, but you'll only use it in 1v1s. Same with Guardian. These tank classes, the Guardian and Beggar, you're only ever going to use the DPS set really in 1v1 situations. If you're looking for a fun 1v1 class, Beggar was really, really fun for me. You have so much variations you can use. You have like so many skill buttons to press. Honestly, it's just so fun to combo. I think it's very intuitive. A lot of people might say it's hard to learn, hard to grasp. This is basically the juggle class. You have a lot of control skills, a lot of counter skill involved. You get to use this dog to combo a lot and extend your combo. So with Beggar, you can nearly have an infinite combo. You can change your skills if you play it right, and it all by the time you finish your combo, the beginning skills that you use will be off cooldown. So very fun class. The dog is a great disruptor, as well as extender combo extender. So if you like 1v1 PvP, Beggar is very fun. My experience with Beggar, I still struggle with the Swordsman 5th skill, the wind barrier. The fairy is very annoying still as a Beggar, just because that block can really just fuck your momentum up. And as well as enchanters, I feel like if the enchanter is really, really good, like the top 1%, you're gonna have trouble. But some enchanters aren't that great, and you can wait. You can, as long as you play aggressive, you can waste all their escapes and make the enchanter very useless, and just sit there, take your hits. And again, I do say you have a lot of counter and close gap skills, so you can really close the escapes from the enchanter. So very fun class. I like the 1v1 a lot, but it's not used anywhere else. Like DPS in Tails is terrible. You don't want to use DPS in Tails. It's like 1 out of 5, 2 out of 5, in my opinion. But DPS, I would say, for me, I'm biased. It's 5 out of 5. I would say in reality and realistically, it may be a 4 out of 5 in 1v1s. It's very hard for a lot of people to master. I would say medium skill ceiling. No, sorry. Medium entry, high skill ceiling. That's probably better. For the tank set, 5 out of 5, really good. I feel like Guardian and Beggar, you can't go wrong with either tanks. The only reason why I feel like Beggar might be better is because once you fill up your class bar, you can use a heal attack. This heal skill does a lot of damage, and from my experience, you're at 60% HP. You just pop that heal skill, and you go all the way back to 100% if you land it. It is a melee attack, so don't miss it or don't waste it. But very strong. I definitely like this class a lot. The reason why I call it a selfish tank is because it does give the group 20% max HP on its 5th skill when it jumps into the enemy, but that's all it really gives. It's 20% max HP increase for like 10 seconds or 8 seconds. And it does give them super armor, but with Guardian, I feel like the 30%. I forgot how much it is. It's been a while. The damage reduction is, I think, a lot better for team play on Guardian, but you still can't go wrong with Beggar. I think Beggar has more control skills, or more easy control skills, than Guardian does. You can spin around and slam everyone up in the air. I feel like Beggar is just such a fun class for being an asshole. You just like to, if you like to manhandle people and juggle them, the Beggar is the class for you, I'd say. So 5 out of 5 for Tail. Group PvP, it's also 5 out of 5. You definitely want tanks in group PvP, so very strong. Yeah, and I think that's pretty much all I gotta say for Beggar. It's really good. Can't go wrong. Sixth class, Flutist. Now this is the one where I feel like I I I never really play the class, but I really have mad respect for this class. Now the flutist doesn't get much play. If you look in global leaderboards, flutist is the least played class. Uh, but honestly, it's such a strong class that I don't know why people don't play it. I don't think it's just. I think it's not as fun or as interactive as all the other classes. It definitely takes a lot of high skill ceiling for the DPS set. So if you're doing 1v1s, flutists, from my experience, have been such pain in the asses. They have the farthest range stun or control skill I've ever seen. You can bubble someone like fucking 30 meters away, or 50 meters away. I don't even know. It's so annoying to fight flutists in 1v1s. A good flutist will fuck you up. I don't know if it's their fifth skill, but they can clone one of your skills, and the chain combos is just ridiculously strong. I saw a lot of whales play flutist as well at launch. It does really, really well in 1v1 settings. Group PvP for DPS, not that great. I would give it maybe a 2 out of 5 for group PvP setting. Definitely can do really well. If you're a whale, anything can do well. That's the thing. If you're free to play, it's not that great. But if you're a whale, everything's great. You can do amazing. It'll be from a 2 out of 5 straight to a 4 out of 5 if you're a whale. But we're talking about free to play here, so group PvP DPS not that great. But for 1v1s, I would rate it maybe a 4 out of 5. I honestly want to rate it a 5 out of 5 just because I've had such terrible experience fighting flutists. They are very, very annoying. They definitely have a lot of things going for them in terms of counters, escapes, and stuns. It's very well rounded, but it definitely has a high skill ceiling. I think it's the most difficult next to Enchanter, the second most difficult to comprehend how to play well. But yeah, group setting, not that great. 1v1's great. For healing, it pairs really, really well with Guardian because Guardians have shielding and Flutists have shielding. So you just get more shields on top of shields. So Flutist is very important. I would have I much prefer a Flutist healer in most settings than I do a fairy healer. They both do well, but Flutist, you have pretty much over shield. You can put shield on top of your 100% max HP. So you would have 120% max HP because 20% of it would be shield, 100% is your health. So you can always have health on top of health with Flutist through shielding. So you can't go wrong with that. It helps you survive mechanics easier. So it's very, very good to know. Um, I feel like in group PvP, the flutist is uh, more needed or more wanted, I should say. So if you're looking for for like guild wars, definitely flutist healing is probably better. I don't want to bash fairy healing too much, but flutist healing just seems to be more wanted, at least in global, from my experience. So 5 out of 5 for tails, 5 out of 5 for group PvP. Can't go wrong. That's pretty much it. I know I've been kind of on a tangent, so I'm gonna probably put ratings on the screen for you guys because I've talked too much. I know I talk too much. Seventh class strategist, the very high skill ceiling 1v1. You're not gonna even play this at launch, but I'll cover it anyways. 1v1s, 5 out of 5. Everyone jumped to strategist, just not because it's, well, it is a new class. It is because it's a new class, but all the whales, all the top PvPers went to strategist because it has a lot of versatility, high skill ceiling, but rewards you very well. A lot of counter play, a lot of combo play. This is a very technical class, and I would say if you're not patient and you like to button mash, it's not the class for you for 1v1. However, if you're using the second set, the DPS, the PVE set, the second set, you can easily get high DPS on tails. So 1v1, 5 out of 5 if you're a good player, 3 out of 5, maybe 2 out of 5 if you're a bad player. For tails, 5 out of 5. It kind of does high DPS. I don't think it beats Swordsman in terms of DPS for PVE, but it's up there. It always fights head to head with Swordsman. So very, very good. Can't go wrong. But that's talking about your second set. So you only ever use the first set for 1v1s and the second set for everything else. Just like Guardians and Beggars, pretty much. But Strategist, very strong class. Definitely played this a lot, but I just switched to Beggar recently because I just like Beggar a lot. But Strategist, very strong class. A lot of whales switched over just because high DPS, high reward, high skill ceiling, but high effort compared to Swordsman. So if you want Swordsman, low effort, high reward, Strategist, high effort, high reward. So you can pick and choose definitely which one you want. I did find my hands being sore when I was button mashing. There's a lot of button mashing with strategists because the auto you do a lot of auto attacking, which is very annoying. So I couldn't do it. My hands couldn't keep up. So Beggar was more my pace. Now I figured I'd show you the leaderboards for Global NA East, which I think is the biggest whale server in Global between the two NA and two EU servers. So this just shows you what the whales kind of invested in. As you can see, the Swordsman is still the top, but a lot of whales jumped to strategists. We actually have some whale fairies there, but you can see for the most part it's mainly Swordsman strategists, and we do have some Enchanter, one Enchanter here. Yeah, it's a bit diverse, I would say. You can see there's not a lot of Flutist whales here. Some of these whales are just kind of here because they want to be #1 for the free title, the golden title, which I actually have right now. You get these titles for being #1 in power, or #2 to 3 in power, or 4 to 10 in power for chat settings and stuff like that. Like this, Delirious Chuckler. Different names for different classes and stuff like that. But yeah, so you can see the diversity here. Swordsman being the #1 whale class, as I said. Strategist being the #2 whale class. Fairy being the #3 whale class. And then I think Enchanter, Beggar, Flutist, and Guardian are about the same. Yeah, Enchanter being like #4 in whale class. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of idea of what the whales invest in and what the free to plays invest in. If you're looking for gels, you can see the 1v1 players are all strategists, swordsmen, or enchanters for the most part. We got some beggars and flutists, but for the most part, it's usually swordsmen, enchanters, and strategists that dominate the scene. We do have 5v5s here as well, but this doesn't really matter much because it's just who you group up with. If you do a pre-made 5-man, of course you're gonna win more fights and stuff like that. And this is Battle Royale Grandmaster. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy, and I hope this helps. And best of luck on your launch. I'll make some more videos for you guys, and let me know what you need, and I'll try to deliver. I'll see you in the next one, guys. Cheers.